As you can see, my kitchen is clearly a mess right now, so while I clean, I'm going to be talking about my short film, The Busy Silent. Just to have a brief summary, I recently bought a camera. I pretty much just wanted to talk about why I bought a camera and the reason I wanted to make short films and the reason I wanted to make this short film. So if you haven't seen my short film, it's out now. I'll link to it right now. You can see. There's stuff on the floor here, so I'm a little scattered, and I'll probably say things again, but I recently bought a ZV-E10. It's labeled as a vlog camera, but I think that's an understatement of what it actually is, which is it's a decent camera for filming pretty much anything. I'm not much of a film buff. I like films a lot. I like composition. I like colors. Who doesn't like colors? I like a good shot. I wanted to try and practice my skills by making a film where I shoot scenes, much like the beginning landscapes I do for my long videos, like you saw at the beginning there. And I wanted to try and score them as well, because I think that's very interesting. I've never scored film before, and I know that seems very pretentious to consider this film, but I think a lot of things are film. I consider this film. Over a weekend, the weekend I actually didn't post anything. I had gone on a hike to 3 different locations. One place was called Flying J Park, and while I was there, there's a little trailhead that went in a loop, but I didn't go too far. I just went as much as I could for how much battery I had left, because halfway through driving towards Flying J, I realized that I didn't have my spare batteries. I bought 2 extra batteries just for this trip, and I totally forgot them on the way. I also forgot my hiking shoes, so I was slipping so much because there was so much ice and snow still on the ground. There were also a lot of birds, which was very nice. The bird shot I got, it let me get really close until a dog came by and kind of ruined it. I don't know if this comes off right, but like if I were to take a video of branches, for instance, conventionally I'd sample branches and put that in my score, much like you do with a film soundtrack, for Folly. But I didn't want to do that. I wanted to make my own sounds, kind of like a digital reimagining of what these scenes look like, and things that move without us necessarily looking at them right in the face. You probably need a very powerful microscope to see all the little tiny bugs crawling around in all the locations. But after Flying J, I went to Red Rocks. If you don't know Red Rocks, it's like one of the most famous hiking trails in Colorado. It's pretty much very similar to Vasquez Rock in California. So I went on one of the more popular trails. I wanted to try and get as much non-human footage as possible, because I think it was much more appealing to get environments other than what humans, interact with every single day. It was much of a challenge because there was a lot of people. It was the weekend. And when I went to my 3rd location, which was downtown Littleton, it was very busy, which was very surprising that I got as much shots as I did without people. There were cars, obviously, but I could have done something very cynical, I guess, and make it seem like man-made creation is garish compared to human creation, or compared to nature and natural creation. But I didn't want to do that. I thought it was very neat, the places I went to, and I wanted to respect them accordingly. I forgot to talk about the very beginning. This shot was taken before I went to a breakfast spot. It was called No No's. It's like this Cajun place, but it had very good breakfast there. I had some cheesy grits, but that very first shot was just a little overpass bridge. I stopped in the middle of the road. No, I stopped on the side of the road to get a shot of that, and it was very neat. I thought it was a good start to the rest of the video, even though it didn't really match the environments I went to. Still very nice. In my scrapbook series, I've made videos into 4x3, and I really wanted to make this into 4x3 because I thought it was very nice to have things very closed off, like environment wise, kind of feels a bit cramped, but also very cozy, like, in my opinion. I've been struggling with getting out lately. I think it's very hard for me having the job I have with the time of year it is. It's not necessarily even spring yet. It's even cold today, but the fact that I could get out and do the things I could that day, it was like one of the most fun days of my life. Going out and having a goal in mind and getting it done is one of the most important things that I've ever realized about what goals I want for music. And because of music making, I've been able to get more stuff done, streamlining what I want in my music, because I had so much practice making so many different drum loops and sound design things. It was very fun. The way I structured this, I had it all planned out in my mind. Not necessarily the trips, because I've never been to Flying J before. I didn't know which shots I wanted to get, but I know that since we live next to the Rocky Mountains, that I know I wanted to get very wide landscape shots of my state. Those mountains always loom off in the distance, no matter where you are. I pretty much got exactly what I wanted to get done. Am I still recording? I'm still going. Okay. I just want to be as creative as possible in all of our short lives before I kick that damn bucket. I think if I didn't miss anything, I might go over to my computer and show you guys how I made the track. It's a very large track, so it'll be a bit talking about it, but let's move on to that. I'm being vulnerable right now by showing my trash profile. Hello, this is me explaining the track, The Busy Silent, for my film. And I'll just go through it shot by shot. So I did do this beginning to end. I didn't jump around this whole project, but you can see this thing is giant. I've done, 250 tracks exactly. When I started this, I pretty much just did a tempo tracker. So I had it 160 beats per minute, and I just did little clicks. Here it is. I put this tempo track into Sony Vegas, and then I took the best shots I could and just fit it like that. And here's my first shot. A bass. My little signature wheel down thing. I recently bought Chroma, and I wanted an excuse to test it out, and I think it worked really well for all the environments in here. I didn't use it for every single timbre, but I did use it for a good bit. So this beginning bit, which is just Jungle Break, which had like a bunch of gates and stuff. Here's the same Jungle Break, but with Chroma on it, and this part is the snare that's reverbed. The snare's cut out, the transient's cut out, so that it makes room for the actual transient. And throughout this whole song, I have these strings playing, and it's M2000 that just came out on Internet Archive. I've been using a lot of that, so I'd use these strings too. Most of it's the same chords, besides some variations towards the landscape shots. Here's that trunk shot. It looked pretty cool. It was just, it looked like an R, so I thought that was a neat little thing. It's the kick part of the first break, but I put automation with the reverb and an OTT and made it louder, so it's kind of, it sounds like it's pumping. And also, I left the bass in, so it kind of sounds like there's a booming, kind of 808 sounding bass, but yeah. Here's a little 4 shot. I don't do major chords that much. It's really cheesy when I do them, but honestly, if you do it right, then it can sound really cool. For most of these tracks, like a lot of the melodic sounding ones, I wanted them to sound dirty, so I always combined them with a sub and put Meldus Saturator on it, and this Compander mode is pretty much like tube distortion. I think I just cut it off and added some erosion. A nice snap. Kind of sounds like modern camo and crooked. I think it has some of that M2000 samples in it. Yeah. Sounds really phasey, but I think that sounds cool. A lot of things going on, so I wanted the energy to kick up around here. And you can see I'm doing a lot of chroma mapping for mid-eye. A lot of sweeping signs for my chroma because I kind of like that zappy noise. It's very like rave-like, but also modern. Oh, you know what? You've been hearing all of this with the master on, which is just a limiter, but let me turn that off real quick. Can I have a lot less delay that way? And it's not that big of a difference because I didn't limit it too loud. I wanted it to be a dynamic track. It's not like I'm playing it in the club or anything, so. Here's the bird shots. I separated it into 4 bars since there's 4 different shots, but it's mostly just to separate the chords that are going on. And I think that's pretty cute, especially when the bird's walking around is doing its cute little thing. But here's jungle sub, little bongo drums playing. I love that. It's still playing the. I like the contrast from the cute bird to the gross mud. You can still hear an acid patch. It's just playing much lower. It's the same thing. There's a bandpass and also there's automation for fine tuning, so it's atonal. It's an annoying sound. I love it. Little sub, neat, and the drums again. I just like the rhythm that's going on here. It's so cool. And that ties in with this sub here. You can hear the kick playing in reverse. It's kind of like you're amping up the sub. Oh yeah, and you can see that it's called Hidden Bird because you can see a bird in the little corner over there if you hadn't noticed it at first glance. I also broke these into 2 parts because there's the heavy log compared with the tiny one. I wanted a huge. I was trying to aim for a thunking lead, kind of like bassy, but it just kind of ended up like a bit weak, which is fine. It still fit with what's going on here. It's just a rave with some chords going on, so. Wonder which rave one it is. It also has chrome on it. Reanimator. And then the landscape break, which is just some drums and just a bunch of layering with some 90s synths. Time to move on to our next location, which is when I went to Red Rocks. The last bit sounded very like dreamlike and melodic, and I wanted this to sound very grounded. 808s and kind of hip hop drums really did that, but I kind of went off the rails with some bits, and you'll see here in a bit. Ain't that dreamy? There's also a lot of brambles, so I kind of wanted to make it sound as disorienting as possible, because that's how I kind of felt walking through all that. I enjoy that width a lot. I recorded this little ARP here. So simple. I put it through granular synth, or a granulator. put it through put it through a granular whatever, and then I put it through chroma to kind of make it melodic. If you can see, it's the ARP is ramping up in speed. I wanted it to go with the next scene here, and that goes into the next scene, which is pretty nice. It's just a sine distortion. And also I put it in one bus because this kick is just a sub, so I wanted it to eat up all the other instruments. That's so fat and dirty and fucking nasty. It's just a water sound that's going through chroma. Here's the part I'm talking about where I kind of went against everything with the hip hop theme, just because I was trying to do one thing and I kind of just went into future bass sounding stuff. Yeah, I used this one for the whole thing, but then I just ended up using this dubstep snare. I ran into a dilemma when mastering here, and I have no idea what's going on. If someone can explain this to me, that'd be great. So every time I played this, every single time, and there's no different variables going on with this sub, there's no phase randomization. And I think it's because it's going through Melda's saturator, but the bass is always a different volume every time I play this. So let me just, and this is why the loop is right here, because I was listening to this like 20 different times. And I don't know, it's supposed to be the same volume every single time, but it jumps from one point all the way up here. So the way I got around this was just recording it, taking the best takes here and doing it into one file, pretty much. That was like the part of mastering that took the most, was just figuring out why the fuck that was going on, but I didn't figure it out. So if someone could help me with that, I really do think it's because it went through Melda's comp. Otherwise, why would it be doing that? Maybe it's multiband's time, but I don't know why it'd be doing that. Because the compander, it's supposed to create dynamics, so I just don't know why it's doing that. Here's the weld part, and this is what I was saying with the bramble, that it was all over the place. It kind of it looked disorienting, so I had something that kind of matched that. Here's the rhythm change with the big boulder bit. I thought it was nice to have a little break from that non-swing rhythms, I guess. I just thought it looked like a little club you'd go to, like the middle of nowhere. It's just like under a rock, and it'd just be some kind of shitty little show because some little group of people's playing it, is what I had in my head, at least. So it's just really lo-fi house drums. Here's a riser into the river part, which people liked a lot. The real reason people like this part is because there's a river, and it just sounds like a river. But then through chroma, it just automatically sounds good. It's like put chroma on everything. It's just a stupid cheat, but honestly, It just sounds good. There's no going around that fact. I'm gonna out myself here and say that Contax hybrid keys is something I use so much. It's honestly a crutch, and I need to find other sounds, but it's free and it sounds great. This part, which sounds very mid-ish, but it's still nice. So the reason I had this longer is because I didn't have as many shots, and I thought it'd be nice to just let things breathe with very nice looking environments. I just wanted to let things soak in a bit. Here's the bass. Very dirty and lo-fi sounding. But a lot of Roadster in this segment. And also I changed the synth chords just so it sounds more warbly. I put vinyl on it. Somewhere right here. And here's where the last bit of sub bass plays. Because there is sub at the end of this. It's just not driven by a sub, and I kind of wanted things to wind down, except for the very end. But I kind of like this part the most out of everything. It just has a nice breath to it. Like the way the snares bounce back and forth between octaves is just very cool. And I like that for a very empty environment that I recorded. And that bass is nice and thick. It goes along with this too. Here's I know it's not City Hall. I forget what that place is called, but it's nice and grand. I wanted nice novel sounds to play with it, like here's the apartment, which is very nice and small sounding. You know, it's like kind of resolves on a major chord, so it feels like you finally went home, pretty much. Because the song's winding down, so I wanted it to be nice and calm before it explodes at the very end. You know, I have a terrible habit of driving sub up just to match with the bass that's going on. I wanted to keep a nice level throughout the whole song, and I didn't want this part sounding weak either, so I just did that. It's a very awful, bad practice, but whatever. Here's the ending bit. I'm using those hybrid keys again because, again, it sounds great. Here's that super saw. Just the saturator, make it sound nice and chunky. But yeah, that's pretty much it. And I went through mastering, and like I said before, I didn't do too much. I really wanted to be a dynamic song. Oh, I had the imager on there. I put that on there by accident, and I went through half the song, mixing half the song with that imager on, just because I didn't realize it was there until I got to mastering. And once I went through mastering, I kind of had to go through everything and adjust everything just to make sure it wasn't too wide. But yeah. Oh, and this did go through stereo imaging, and I guess that's why everything was clipping, because I forgot to put the limiter on. Slight stereo imaging, though. I cut out any lows that I forgot to cut out otherwise. So that was the Busy Silent. I hope I can do this again. I seriously do. With other projects. I have other ones in mind. Right now, I have a few other videos to finish and my scrapbook series to also start up again, because I went a pretty long while without making another episode. So hopefully soon I can start a production with that again. That'd be very nice. But thank you for watching. I'll see you guys next time.